But as Secretary Hegseth said, let us be clear, a ceasefire is a pause, and the joint force remains ready if ordered or called upon to resume combat operations.
The ceasefire may leave Tehran in effective control of the world's most important maritime choke point, the Strait of Hormuz. The continued control over the strait and Iran's potential charging of tolls for passage would mark a dramatic break from the international maritime order, giving Tehran effective veto power over what passes through, from food imports to oil and gas exports from its Arab neighbors.
We're in a worse position than we were before the war. The Strait of Hormuz was open. There's like 500 oil tankers waiting to get through. And Iran has essentially shut it down.
Pakistan has emerged as a key mediator between the U.S. and Iran in recent weeks, with the country's prime minister inviting delegations from both countries to Islamabad for talks Friday. Pakistan's ambassador to the U.S. says success of this process lies in secrecy.
The conflicting parties need to be afforded enough space void of any pressures, outside exogenous pressures.
I'm Ivan Rodriguez reporting.
A controversial plan to build a massive solar farm in North Baldwin County comes to a head tonight. Silicon Ranch, one of the largest solar companies in the country, wants to build a 350 megawatt solar facility near Stockton. The company is buying 4,500 acres of land, but says it will only develop 2,000 of those acres, preserving wetlands and more than 1,000 additional acres. Tonight, the company is holding a public meeting at the John F. Rhodes Civic Center in Bay Minette starting at 6:30 to answer community questions. Silicon Ranch co-founder Reagan Farr says tonight is about transparency and building trust with future neighbors. A group called Stop Solar in Baldwin has a lot of questions, and they plan to be there in force. The group has grown to more than 5,000 members, and they say the community never had a real say in all this.
We're not anti-solar and we're not anti-development, but we're pro-community. And right now, our community is being told we must accept an industrial size project in a sensitive area without the safeguards and trust.
We're buying this land. We're going to be a long-term community member, and we want to get to know our neighbors.
The meeting is open to the public, and again, it starts at 6:30 tonight. That's a little less than 2.5 hours from now. Fox and Baldwin County reporter Hal Sherrick is going to be there, and he will have a live report coming up at 5. A bill to enforce statewide requirements for dog owners who keep their pets outdoors has passed Alabama's House of Representatives. Just yesterday, the bill, also called Bo's Law, got a bipartisan push from lawmakers and animal rights advocates. Alabama political correspondent Jessica Umbro is live outside of the State House. Jessica, this took some time today to get passed. Why is that?
Well, it's because there were nearly a dozen amendments that were proposed to change this bill. A few of them were tabled, but quite a few of them were accepted by the bill's sponsor. Now, the crux of this bill still remains the same. The people who have their pets outside, who have their dogs outside, have to have adequate food, water, and shelter. And the dog, if they're tethered, have to be able to move around without getting hurt. Coming into today, violating the bill would be a Class A misdemeanor or up to a year in jail. Now it's a Class C misdemeanor for the first offense, Class B for the second, and a Class A for the third. The feedback on this bill really didn't follow your conventional thoughts about Democrat versus Republican in this discussion.
You making a farmer mad when you start telling him what to do. The government treating him bad enough. I don't think the state should put no more pressure on them, because you're going to send these men and enforce the law.
Getting this through for thousands of Alabamians who wanted this, and again, they're not Democrat, Republican, Independent, whatever they are, they're just wanted this passed. So it is gratifying to know that we did what the people wanted.
Now, there were two amendments that Representative Ensler was very outspoken in wanting to table, and they were tabled by lawmakers. One of them had to do with giving municipalities the option of whether to enforce this bill or to adopt it in their local code. So he was very against that one. This was not added onto the bill. The other one would have required a warrant to remove a dog who is believed to be in danger from private property. That was ultimately tabled as well. So Ensler was against both of those, but he was open to those other amendments that were discussed a little bit earlier. So now this bill will have to go back to the Senate. Of course, we're in just these final few days, so we'll have to see what ends up happening next. Live at the State House, Jessica Umbro, Fox 10 News.
All right, Jessica. And since the bill was changed by the House today, it will have to go back to the Senate for a concurring vote. Senate Speaker Pro Tempore Garland Gudger is that chamber sponsor of the bill. Red flags are flying again today as rough surf continues on our beaches. Fox 10's Stephen Moody has the latest on the rough conditions and how people are finding other ways to enjoy their time.
Red flags are out and so are the lifeguards as life-threatening surf conditions continue to impact our beaches. Most drownings are caused by rip currents, according to the Gulf Shores Beach Rescue. That's why they're asking people to stay out of the water. One family visiting from Georgia decided to follow that advice and trade swimming in for some baseball.
Riptide is probably pretty bad, so it's very important. Yep, you got to stay safe. The ocean is no joke.
For another family, they had no issues just watching the water from a distance because they know just how bad it can get.
I'm from Lake Michigan, and I know how, like, if you even get stuck in the undertow for like that, you're gone. So I would, stay clear.
Don't go out far because you think you might be able to go out farther, but it will catch you and it will take you out.
Oh yeah.
From experience, we know.
Besides not getting in the water, the biggest piece of advice parents have is to just pay attention.
You need to be careful and be on your P's and Q's. Watch your kids. Make sure you're not doing something they shouldn't be doing.
Stephen Moody, Fox 10 News.
Well, that was the beach earlier today. This is a live look at the bay as well from our battleship camera. And it's a nice day outside no matter where you are across Mobile and Baldwin counties. Yeah, it feels nice too. Get some nice sunshine on you, Jason. I'm not complaining about this forecast though.
Oh, no, it feels great, just like yesterday in a lot of spots. But we have an easterly breeze, and that's why we have that rip current danger at the beaches. And that's going to be the case again tomorrow and Friday. We may see a slight improvement Saturday with a medium rip current risk, and then we're back to a high risk on Sunday. The Gulf is just churned up for a while, and it can happen that way this time of the year. We usually have a pretty tight pressure gradient scenario in months like March, April, and early May. That can be a very breezy time of the year for the Gulf Coast. Checking out the next 10 hours, east winds, temperatures around 70 at 8 o'clock. There are going to be some clouds in the area. We're already seeing that a little bit over the far eastern edge of the area, and one or two stray showers could actually pop up this evening. I don't think it'll help at all with the drought. We're looking at overnight lows in the mid 50s to the north, upper 50s closer to the coast, 59 in Pensacola, 57 in Mobile. And looking at the maps, we do have a little bit of low cloud cover here across the Panhandle in Okaloosa, Santa Rosa, Escambia counties. It looks like a couple of showers down around Pensacola Beach, and the Futurecast continues to show a little bit of light activity in the area, and the most likely time to see that would be around 9 o'clock. So in about 5 hours, we could see a couple of isolated showers in the area. Most of that will wind down after midnight tonight, and then we'll go back over to decent conditions to start things out on our Thursday with mostly sunny skies again very quickly by tomorrow. Coming up in your complete forecast, we're going to take a look at the numbers as we finish out the work week and head into the weekend. We're also going to talk more about the drought conditions which continue to intensify. Okay,
Jason, we'll check back in with you then. Well, forecasters expect El Nino to form this year, and early signs suggest it could become a rare super El Nino with stronger than typical impacts. The climate cycle is developing in the Pacific Ocean near the equator. In the U.S., it can lead to winter storms in the west and south, bringing the risk of flooding. Strong El Ninos can influence heat waves in the U.S. and elsewhere. Meteorologists will be watching closely to see just how strong it gets. The El Nino is expected to set in by late summer or early fall.
And also want to mention that a strong El Nino can make for a weaker hurricane season, so it's not all bad. Taking a look at the Hampton Inn camera here from our Eastern Shore Toyota network of cameras, checking traffic. We're in pretty good shape there along the I-10 Bayway. We're not seeing any major delays on I-65, I-10 out towards the Mississippi line. A little bit of a medium slowdown here right around the tunnels, but that's completely normal. And then we get over to Baldwin County. Everything looks good. No problems here. Looks like the road construction dilemma has been solved between the Wilcox Road exit and the Beach Express exit, so we're not seeing problems or delays there, and everything looks good in Pensacola. Coming up on Fox 10 News, we will continue to monitor traffic, and I'll have your long-range forecast.
Okay, Jason, thank you. The crew of Artemis 2 is on its way back home after rounding the moon. Job's not done yet, with crew members conducting tests and experiments that will help aid astronauts on future missions. Fox News correspondent Caroline Elliott has more.
A breathtaking look at the dark side of the moon. The Artemis 2 crew sending back these stunning photos from the far side of the lunar surface, our most detailed images yet.
This is the first time humans have documented some parts of the far side of the moon.
The Orion spacecraft also capturing this majestic view of the Milky Way, the colossal galaxy we call home.
The conversations and the science lessons learned are just beginning.
With the spacecraft on cruise control back towards Earth, the crew received a courtesy wake-up call Wednesday morning from Mission Control. Along with a shout-out from the Canadian Space Agency. Astronauts are learning everything they can while they're still in zero gravity. They're testing out the thrusters and even how to deal with radiation.
Van Allen belts protect us from radiation, which is in deep space, everywhere in deep space. And so they're going to do some tests with some equipment, some vests that have hydrogen polymers to help that would protect your inner organs.
And with just 2 days to go, NASA says it's still facing some unresolved issues with its one-of-a-kind space toilet.
The challenge that we're working through is evacuating the wastewater tank. And so we're having to fall back to some other alternate means other than the toilet.
The 10-day mission wraps up on Friday when astronauts make their re-entry and splash down in the Pacific Ocean. In New York, Caroline Elliott, Fox News.
Still ahead here on Fox News at 4. If you're planning on voting in the primaries, we got something to tell you about. There's a forum happening tomorrow where you can hear from the candidates. How you can take part coming up in a live studio interview next. Also, traveling through space and time has never been sweeter. A look at the future in space, as well as a step into the past, is coming up in today's Take a Look at This. But first, let's go back out to the beach where, again, you can see the rip currents are strong. Do not get in the water. But you can see a lot of people are on the sandy beaches there in Orange Beach. It is a beautiful day. Hopefully people are just soaking up the sun and staying safe. We'll be right back with more on this Wednesday. Welcome back. The Greater Mobile, Alabama chapter of the Links Incorporated is hosting a candidate forum this week. It's your chance to hear directly from the candidates ahead of the upcoming primary elections. So Aquilyn Kennedy and Myra Evans join us now. Thank you, ladies, so much for being here today.
Thank you.
So talk about this event. What is Link Up the Vote, first of all?
Link Up the Vote is an initiative of the Greater Mobile chapter, and it's actually the Links Incorporated nationally and internationally, to really motivate people to get out and vote and make their voice heard.
Yeah, that's so important that we continue to remind people, continue to help people and get them the information on voting. How are we getting the youth involved now with all of this too? Because that's an important age group.
Very important. So the organization has a number of national partners. We decided to reach out to those partners because we've all have a programming that's focused on our youth, and we want to make sure that our youth are educated about this, and we want to leverage the youth in their homes to make sure that their parents and their parents' friends are getting out to vote. One of the things that we found is through the years, we do a lot of work on this, but the voter turnout does not change. So we want to use our youth and get them to kind of say, hey, get out there and vote and make sure that you've got me in mind.
Yeah, and sometimes young people can kind of lead the way for everyone when you see someone, hey, you can do it, I can do it too.
Absolutely.
What is the forum? Talk about it for us, if you don't mind.
Sure. Well, I'm going to actually let one of our partners talk about it. So League of Women Voters is one of our partners, yes. And she's the coordinator for us.
Well, the forum is a little bit different because we have an educational component at 5 o'clock. You can come and see the actual voting machines because there's a lot of mystery about that. And then at 5:30, we have invited all of the candidates for sheriff, the county race, to come, and we have some moderators, a student from USA, as well as an adult, I guess, moderator working with them. Yeah. To ask questions that the community and students have submitted that are of interest. And then when that is over at 6:30, there'll be a brief reset, and we have invited the candidates for 97 and 99 to come. Now, we do realize that the House is still in session and a couple of our candidates are doing the work that we have asked them to go and do. So if by some chance they are unable to physically join us, they may Zoom in, but they have assured us we're all going to do the best that we can do. So we have questions for them as well.
I like that. I like that you say there's going to be a poll there. So that can be intimidating, especially if you're a youth going in. I don't know how to work this machine or all of that, but it's really cool that you guys are going to be explaining that and talking about that in person.
This is what it's all about. We want to make sure that we're demystifying the voting process and make sure that we can bring everyone. So this doesn't have to be just youth. This is anyone who's not voted before or just understands that this is a new time, it's a new day, and it's time to make some changes. Yeah. So that's the way that we're going to do that.
Who are the moderators of this event?
Ooh. Our moderators are, so our SGA president at USA is Casey Crusoe. We have the SGA president for Bishop State, and that's Tyler Davis. And then we also have Moshe Donald and Dr. April Taylor.
Okay, and quickly before I let you guys go, where do people need to go to register to attend? All the information for them before we let you guys go.
If they come to our Facebook or Instagram, they'll find information about how to register for the forum. It's best to register to get a reserved seat, so that's Greater Mobile Links. That's the page. So take a look at that and register to vote. I mean, and not register to vote, yes, by May 4th, but register for our forum, which is tomorrow at 5 o'clock.
Register for both, right?
That's right.
Yes, get registered.
Yes. Well, thank you, ladies, so much for being here today. We are out of time, but I appreciate this. And this interview is going to be posted on our website. So if you're watching at home, you want to share it with someone you know, want to learn more information, it'll all be posted on fox10tv.com. on our website, just there on the studio interviews tab you see on your screen.
All right, taking a look downtown here with our Eastern Shore Toyota camera. The car's starting to slow down a little ahead of the Wallace Tunnel. We'll have an update on traffic coming up in about 20 minutes. Here's what we're seeing with our temps with that same shot right there. It is 77 degrees right now. Winds are out of the east at 6 miles an hour, and the air's still dry, thankfully, so it feels great out there. There are no heat index issues or anything like that. It's a comfortable spring day, and we've got a breeze kind of keeping things going as well as far as the way it feels and feeling very pleasant. So 75 in Pensacola, 74, real breezy east winds along the beaches over to Gulf Shores with a high rip current risk. 77 in Gulf Shores right now. We are at 79 in Leakesville, and we do have a few scattered clouds around. In fact, those clouds are a lot thicker across the coastal sections of the Panhandle, and it looks like a couple of isolated showers down here around Pensacola, and this is likely going to be just light sprinkles, but we're seeing this coming in and moving on off towards the northwest. It actually looks like some rain may be trying to fall here in far southeastern Baldwin County around Seminole. This pattern should hold for about the next 5 to 7 hours. We're thinking between now and about midnight, roughly, with our best chance of isolated showers. And you can see that there. The Futurecast actually develops quite a bit more in the way of these isolated showers around 10 p.m. Kind of peaks out about midnight, and then it busts up and is mostly out of the picture at daybreak tomorrow morning. But a stray shower is possible. It's not the kind of rain that's going to have any noticeable impact on the drought. May not be even any measurable rain in a lot of spots, and things look dry all the way through the end of the week on Friday. Our forecast temperatures are going to be in the mid-50s tomorrow morning in the inland spots, upper 50s near the coast. We've got Pascagoula and Mobile at 57, Pensacola at 59. We are concerned about that rip current danger at the beaches. We've got a high risk of rip currents both Thursday and Friday. A medium rip current risk on Saturday, and then back to a high rip current risk in the long range, possibly into Sunday. Here's your extended forecast, and temperatures gradually get a little warmer with our daytime highs and our overnight lows across the 7-day period. We'll have low 80s this weekend, but it still will be pleasant at night. It's just the humidity starts creeping up by the middle of the week next week with highs in the 80s and lows in the 60s.
All right, Jason, thank you. April is Child Abuse Awareness Month, and the Child Advocacy Center is launching a new campaign to educate the public about its mission. Lamar Advertising and Lewis Communications are donating billboard spaces and creative work to help spread the word about the services the center provides for abused children and their families. The Child Advocacy Center grounds were decked out in blue pinwheels to symbolize the abuse victims who came to the CAC to receive a wide range of services last year. Executive Director Andy Wynn was at the event and talked about the importance of the awareness of what they do.
You know, they're often told all these horrible things will happen if they tell anybody, but horrible things are already happening, and we can help protect them. You know, I mean, that really is it. These kids need to be removed from the situation, or have the situation removed from them, and protect them from any consequences of that, and begin that healing process, because it does take a very long time.
For more information on the Child Advocacy Center, you can head to our website, fox10tv.com. Tomorrow, 25 of the region's top chefs and restaurants are putting their signature dishes to the test. It's a culinary cook-off that serves a greater purpose. It's Feeding the Gulf Coast's only annual fundraiser, a night full of food, live entertainment, and a silent auction aimed at ending hunger along the Gulf Coast. The reality is hunger does not always look how you expect. It could be a family next door, maybe even a coworker. The Chef Challenge at the Mobile Convention Center is a chance for the community to come together to help. Ticket information is on our website at fox10tv.com, and you can donate food, funds, or your time. If you or someone you know needs help, resources are available there too. Traveling through space and time has never been sweeter. Amanda Sansoni looks at the future in space and takes steps into the past. In today's Take a Look at This.
In space, they say no one can hear you scream. But thanks to 32 cameras and devices located in and around the Orion spacecraft, we can all see what they eat. A jar of Nutella going viral after it appeared floating through the cabin Monday night. While the Artemis II crew has access to a menu of 189 different meal options,
we have to rehydrate a lot of our food.
The chocolatey hazelnut spread may be the tastiest bite of home. As the Artemis astronauts plan to journey home from the stars, a set of stairs that once brought Earthlings closer to the heavens is going up for sale. This is section number 1 of the Eiffel Tower's original spiral staircase that connected the second and third floors of the tower when it was built in 1889. And it could soon be yours. That is, if you've got high ceilings and deep pockets. The 9-foot-tall structure is comprised of 14 steps and is expected to fetch between $140,000 and $175,000 when it goes up for auction next month. As a piece of history finds a new home in Paris, a home belonging to a famed former French minister is revealing history here in the U.S. A team of archaeologists unearthing a brick kiln from the 1700s at Thomas Jefferson's Monticello home.
We started excavating down carefully layer by layer, immediately started hitting brick.
The discovery was made during inspections for some upcoming construction at the site.
This is an active site of research and interpretation and storytelling.
The kiln was used to make bricks for Jefferson's home. Now, more than 2 centuries later, it's helping to add to the foundation of what we know about the past.
There's stories that are still out there waiting to be told.
For Take a Look at This, I'm Amanda Sansoni.
When Fox News at 4 comes back, we've got the latest in the It Ends With Us legal battle. The new questions Blake Lively's team wants answered before trial starts next week.
The Fox 10 Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
The Fox 10 Pledge of Allegiance.
265-1000.
Welcome back. It is 4:30 and the court fight heats up as the It Ends With Us trial nears. Blake Lively is making a new demand of Justin Baldoni. Lively's legal team wants to know if Baldoni will testify in person. In a letter to the judge, they ask if he plans to testify by deposition instead. Earlier this month, the judge threw out 10 of Lively's legal claims. The trial will focus on allegations of breach of contract, retaliation, and aiding and abetting retaliation. The case is set for trial next month. An iconic movie returns to theaters and an award-winning series gets a sequel. David Daniel has both in today's Hollywood Minute.
Help me help you. You are hanging on by a very thin thread. And I dig that about you.
If Jerry Maguire had you at hello, it's time to say hello again. The romantic drama starring Tom Cruise, Renee Zellweger, and Oscar winner Cuba Gooding Jr. is back on the big screen for its 30th anniversary, April 12th, 14th, and 15th.
Agnes Mackenzie, this is Daisy. Make her feel comfortable.
The aunts from The Handmaid's Tale return in the sequel series, The Testaments, led by Ann Dowd as Aunt Lydia.
I think she's a different person, and therefore she fits into this new telling of a whole new kind of, it's still Gilead, but we haven't focused on these wonderful young people, and now we are.
Mabel Lee, who joins the cast as Aunt Vidala, was a huge fan of the original series.
I followed the whole show, so I have a strange parasocial relationship with Ann Dowd over here, who I love.
Hi, buddy.
The Testaments debuts today on Hulu. In Hollywood, I'm David Daniel.
I'm interested in watching that. I saw most of Handmaid's Tale, so let's check it out. Well, next up, we're going to dive into those big breaking stories headlining your news at 5. And we also have this story for you.
Patients can be hospitalized and they can develop multi-organ failure and even death.
Another tick-borne illness on the rise, and doctors say people should pay attention. Up next, a better treatment for severe, potentially life-threatening cases when Fox 2 News at 4 returns.
Committed to you. This is Fox 10 News.
Well, as we speak, our team of reporters are working to bring you breaking news updates and follow-ups for Fox 2 News at 5. First, closing arguments in the trial against Darius Lucky, one of the people accused of being involved in a drive-by shooting that killed 9-year-old Kaylee Knight. The latest from the courtroom coming up in a live report. And then a new home development for low-income families shown off today by the city of Mobile. How many new homes and how they were funded, also coming up at 5. Plus, a Pritchard boxer who walked across 7 countries to chase his dream is now one fight away from a world title. You're going to hear about his incredible journey when Fox 2 News at 5 starts in less than half an hour from right now.
All right, here's what we're tracking on our Fox 10 Gulfstream app here. This is a free app which is available if you have a Roku TV or a smart TV, a Fire Stick, Apple TV. We've got it available for all of this. You just download Fox 10 Gulfstream and get this app, and you can check your forecast out anytime. Plus, we have a segment called Next Weather where we take a deeper look at some important weather topics like rip current safety, which is a big issue this week, and also long-range forecasting where it's going to be difficult to get some rain in here. Here's what we're tracking as we take a look at the forecast, and we've got a very dry pattern over the next 7 days. So we're not seeing much. Daytime highs up around 80, overnight lows in the upper 50s to near 60 degrees. Now, specifically, let's talk about the forecast for tomorrow in Pensacola, and this is what we're seeing. We're going to start out around 60 degrees, and we're going to keep that east wind going tomorrow. That's why we've got the rip current issue down at Pensacola Beach and Gulf Shores and Dauphin Island. We've got a high near 75 tomorrow with breezy conditions. We will have some clouds around in the morning, but better chance of some sunshine in the afternoon. And on the Mobile side, partly cloudy skies, temperatures in the 70s with a nice easterly breeze getting going. If you have evening plans tonight, it's not out of the question to see an isolated shower along the immediate coast. We've got a little weak system that's moving by. It's going to add some clouds into the picture for all of us, but also will give us the potential for a few stray showers. Those should be gone by tomorrow, and all we'll see is just a continuation of that east wind, which is going to ramp up the rip current risk at the beaches. And it looks like the high pressure center that has been keeping us generally dry over the last month or so, with few exceptions, Easter Sunday was one of those, looks like that is building back in, and it wants to dominate our weather for a while going forward, thus the warmer temperatures and the very low rain chances. So here's what we're seeing as we head into the weekend. Dry conditions. We've got warm temperatures at the end of the week, highs in the low 80s on Friday and Saturday, Sunday at 82. And coming up here on Fox 10 News, we'll have a more detailed look at your long-range forecast. We'll also check traffic conditions here this afternoon and this evening.
Okay, Jason, we'll see you in a little bit. You've only got a week to file your taxes, and a few last-minute steps could help. First, request an automatic 6-month extension to file, but you must pay what you owe by April 15th or face penalties. Experts caution against using AI to speed up the process, saying it could misinterpret complex tax rules and it could lead to some costly errors. For help, an interactive IRS tax assistant can answer last-minute questions. Low-income filers, 60 and older, may qualify for free help from volunteer tax sites or AARP. Military members can get assistance through meal tax. A new report by a consumer advocacy group raises questions about how quickly the public learns about some food recalls and outbreaks. In today's Watching Your Wallet, consumer investigator Chris Jackman looks at the group's findings, the Food and Drug Administration's response, and steps you can take to protect yourself.
Foodborne illnesses are a major public health issue. The Government Accountability Office says it costs Americans an estimated $75 billion a year in medical care, lost productivity, and premature deaths. That's why Teresa Murray, consumer watchdog with U.S. PIRG, says the public needs timely, clear information when food safety problems emerge.
There's a lot of detective work that takes place, and so it's understandable that it does take time. We still think that it takes way too long. Like, it shouldn't take years.
PIRG's new Food for Thought 2026 report looks at 28 foodborne illness outbreaks announced in 2025. The group says these outbreaks were linked to just over 1,000 reported illnesses. It says salmonella was the most common cause, linked to 15 outbreaks and 636 illnesses. PIRG says one of its biggest concerns is that many of those outbreak investigations did not lead to a publicly announced recall. The group also raises concerns that some FDA-regulated recalls are not posted on the FDA's recall page, which the FDA itself notes does not include all recalls.
Well, come on. If you're not posting the recall announcements on the FDA's recall website that people rely on to find out if they've got something in their freezer or in their pantry, how are they supposed to find out? Like, really, how are they supposed to find out?
We reached out to the FDA about PIRG's report. The agency says it uses several methods to reach consumers, including press releases, alerts, and public notices. Murray says concerned consumers can take steps on their own, including shopping at stores that alert consumers when products they bought have been recalled.
A lot of the grocery stores are doing that now. So they will send out an automated text message or email or even a phone call.
With this Watching Your Wallet, I'm Chris Jackman.
Stanford Cancer Center in California unveils what it calls a first-of-its-kind proton therapy system for cancer patients. The center says the machine is ultra-compact and fits into a single treatment room. In addition, the machine delivers cancer-killing proton radiation as the patient sits upright and allows doctors to target tumors more precisely with minimal damage to healthy tissue.
It's a much smaller device than has been traditionally used. It's much more affordable for medical centers to acquire, and I think it's really going to be able to bring this very helpful and powerful new technology to patients around the country and around the world.
Proton therapy is particularly helpful for patients with tumors in sensitive areas like the brain, heart, and spinal cord, and for children. Stanford hopes to be treating patients with the equipment by this summer. After an especially severe tick season in the U.S. last year, experts expect another tough one. While Lyme disease gets the most attention, there's another tick-borne illness also causing concern. In today's Health Minute, Manny Gaither reports on a treatment that could reduce the risk of death.
A potentially life-threatening tick-borne parasitic disease called babesiosis infects red blood cells, and experts say it's on the rise in the U.S.
Patients can be hospitalized, and they can develop multi-organ failure and even death.
Dr. David Leaf with Mass General Brigham Department of Medicine says for most patients with babesiosis, antibiotics will treat the illness. But for those who are most vulnerable to severe disease, like older patients, those who are immunocompromised, or patients receiving chemotherapy, Leaf says antibiotics may not be enough.
When those patients get very sick, they sometimes receive a therapy called red blood cell exchange transfusion.
Leaf says it's a way of exchanging the patient's infected red blood cells for healthy ones. In this study, he and a team of researchers analyzed data on more than 3,000 patients with severe babesiosis over a 15-year period. They found the more invasive transfusion was much more effective at treating severe babesiosis when compared to the standard treatment.
They were more likely to survive the hospitalization, and they were also less likely to be readmitted after they were discharged.
Leaf says reported cases of babesiosis have increased over the past several decades in the U.S., and this research has the potential to save the lives of those with severe disease.
For the first time, we now have evidence that this therapy actually works.
For Health Minute, I'm Mandy Gaither.
All right, our satellite radar picture as we take a look at what's happening out there right now. There actually appear to be a few showers down around Pensacola Beach right now. I just checked the observations at the airport and at Pensacola Naval Air Station. They're not reporting anything, but that could change. We are looking at moisture increasing, and ultimately I think we will see some light showers across the Panhandle if these are not reaching the ground. But it does show a little bit of light rain around Avalon Beach and Garcon Point and some rain down around Gulf Breeze, just light showers, and appears to be even some sprinkles over into Baldwin County. We're definitely beginning to cloud up a little bit. And as we go through the evening hours, the opportunity for rain, the high-res model says it'll probably happen between 7 p.m. and about midnight. It's not going to be anything significant. Most likely areas will see less than 1/10 of an inch, but there is a low chance of a few isolated showers briefly in the area tonight. The drier air mostly takes back over again on our Thursday morning, other than a little bit of drizzle and low cloud cover early. We will be mostly sunny by your Thursday afternoon, and it looks like a great forecast as we head towards the weekend. We're going to see mainly dry conditions. That in itself is a problem with the drought, but at least we are enjoying pleasant weather for outdoor activities. Right now, it's in the upper 70s. We've got a nice breeze. We've got temperatures in the mid 70s to the north. It's 75 right now in Pensacola, but 77 in Mobile and Fairhope. We really need the rain. Our rainfall deficit is now over 9 inches for the year, and that little bit of rain we saw over Easter didn't do much to help. Severe drought in a good portion of the area with some extreme drought shading occurring up I-65 and no significant relief on the way, even though those isolated showers are in the picture for this evening. Tonight's lows anywhere from the mid 50s inland to the upper 50s near the coast, 60 in Gulf Shores. And over the next 3 days, we've got temperatures in the low 80s on Friday and Saturday. And then taking it forward into the long range, next week, temperatures in the low 80s with lows in the low 60s. So we got partly cloudy skies even into next week in the extended forecast, and it looks like mainly dry conditions.
All right, thank you, Jason. Every year, a young artist is recognized on a national level through a program called America's Most Artistic Kid, presented by Bob Ross. It's an opportunity to embrace the joy of painting, and one 6-year-old out of Dexter is up for this grand prize. Here's Sierra Dubois with the story.
About mountains, about grass, about skies.
Those are the things that piqued 6-year-old Avery Brown's interest when he was just 3 years old. That's also when he started following Bob Ross as he watched him paint with his grandmother, inspiring him to paint his future.
I like the colors. I like the pictures of, and I like the pictures of shapes.
Without realizing, Avery tapped into an exceptional talent, which is why he is now a quarterfinalist for America's Most Artistic Kid, presented by Bob Ross. However, for Avery, his love for painting is simple.
Because they're really pretty.
With his talent, he's inspired everyone around him, including his teachers. They saw his skills grow every year, and now that he's in a national competition in which he could get his work displayed in a museum, appear in a special episode of The Joy of Painting, and win a $20,000 prize, they couldn't be more proud.
I knew that he did painting before, and so being able to see him actually do it is just, it's amazing.
The perspective that he has to bring is so adult-like. It's so far more experienced. So the fact that he has that unique quality was just, it was amazing to see.
Avery is just one of the nicest students I've ever met. It is fascinating to see how he's able to relax himself and to complete these beautiful pieces of artwork.
This artist is ahead of his time, and his family, friends, and teachers are rooting for him along the way as he makes his mark in the world of art.
You keep working towards what you find as beauty, then others will see the beauty too.
That's a pretty talented kid. Well, after the break, we're going to take you to a spot where anyone can drop in, join the jam, and rock out. They are informal and they are improvised. Jam sessions. Steve Harris takes us to a spot in Missouri where anyone is welcome to rock out, whether they're an old pro or a first-timer.
Kevin Carmody works at Blue Note Music in Wentzville. Most days he's behind a desk surrounded by guitars. But on the first Friday of every month, he's behind a keyboard surrounded by guitar players. It's what they call their open jam.
Anybody can come out, and as you can see, we've got plenty of amps, plenty of guitars. You can use ours, plug into vintage gear, and just have a blast.
It all started about 8 months ago as a way to bring people together.
Real people, real instruments, real feeling, real tone. You know, this is where AI comes to die.
Word got out, and what started with about 5 guys grew into this. It may seem a bit crowded, but it works.
There's a huge step between learning how to play an instrument versus being able to work with other musicians. And this is that opportunity.
Musicians of all skill levels.
So I'm always looking for a jam.
And ages.
Why I do this is to stay connected to my guitar. This is my retirement gig.
I was nervous at first.
LaShawn takes guitar lessons here. Her teacher convinced her to step up to the mic.
And I'm here every month now.
Louis Armstrong once said, musicians don't retire, they stop when there's no more music in them. If that's the case, well, this group is a long way from retirement.
So I'm always looking for a jam.
Myers in the studio now with how this funding change is creating a ripple effect across the state. And Shelby, what's going on here?
Well, Cameron, Alabama Department of Rehabilitation Services oversees early intervention programs in Alabama. It has changed how providers are funded. The old model gave providers a fixed monthly payment. The new one only reimburses them for services delivered. Early intervention connects families of children ages 0 to 3 with physical, occupational, or speech therapists at no cost to the family. United Cerebral Palsy of Mobile and Central Alabama has been one of the state's largest providers of early intervention. UCP Mobile's president and CEO says the new rate structure has made it impossible to maintain their previous level of service. And because of that, he says, quote, UCP has stopped serving 12 most rural counties. UCP is continuing to work with the ADRS in hopes that we might be able to serve more families in the future. Now, the Alabama Institute for Deaf and Blind, another major early intervention provider, sent a letter to parents calling the new funding model financially unstable. The organization says it's going to restructure its early intervention program. The letter goes on to say they are reducing staff and warns some children may be assigned a different therapist. ADRS Commissioner Jane Elizabeth Birdshaw says every Alabama county still has at least one service provider and that the system gained 4 new programs this past year while losing 2. She says more children are being served now than before and that no funding cuts have been made to the program. This is a developing story and one we will continue to follow. I have more posted on fox10tv.com as well. In the studio tonight, Shelby Myers, Fox 10 News.